Hello, my name is David, and this is the 2024 edition of the Holiday Hack Challenge. In our video series, we have one last challenge for Act 2, and this is Microsoft KC7. This one is a rather long one. It actually has 4 parts, so in the time codes, I will make separate sections for each of those so we can easily jump between them. Let's get started. So this challenge is a bit unique because it is sponsored by Microsoft. Every holiday hack challenge that I've played in the past 4 years, this is the fourth one, we had a sponsor. I think in the first year when I played, it was Splunk, maybe the second year too. And then last year, it was also a Microsoft sponsored challenge. And today is no different. Just like last year, we need to write a bunch of Custo queries here. And if you look at the objectives, you can see that in order to get silver, you need to complete 2 of the sections. And if you complete all 4 of the sections, then you will get the gold trophy. So we need to solve all 4 challenges. We can talk to the elves if you want to. You have to look at the Great Elf Conflict, I think, which I think is here in the middle. Yeah, and we're going to investigate some fishing related activity. So we have Pepper here, and who knows? I'm not even sure. Quite frankly, I forgot to talk about the challenge with the elves when I first solved it, and later I just realized that that is actually going to take you the Great Elf Conflict challenge is actually going to take you to this side here. So you can talk to the elves, but they're not gonna give you any additional hints or anything like that. They're just like going on and on and on. Gunors is the name of the other elf, or kind of looks like troll-ish if you ask me. Yeah, and if you click on this URL, it just takes you to this site here, which after a quick authentication, or more like authorization, so if you're already authenticated with your Microsoft or a Google account, then you can just get started by allowing the KC7 application to use your credentials, and then you're greeted with this screen. Now sometimes the output will be here where my face is. So hopefully this will not prevent you from seeing the results. And for some reason there's some tangling here with other users that I solved the challenge with, because this is now populated. That's one of the final flags, by the way. Interesting. Not really sure what's that about, but let me just close them. I think it's some bug if you use multiple accounts. So yeah, you have to investigate. There's some AI generated image here. At least it looks very much like AI generated stuff. And we're going to write a bunch of Custo queries here. Let me just get my notes to the other side. And the first question is just giving you some context. So again, we're going to investigate phishing scenarios. I'm not going to read through the questions because there's almost like 40 of them, and it would take forever to read the scenario. I'm just going to explain the solution very, very quickly. Maybe just briefly looking into the scenario description to make some sense. So here the instruction is type let's do this to begin KQL training. So you just have to, well, if you paste it like this, just be aware that this will not be accepted. Okay, nah. And the reason is because of the single code here. This is some formatted, not like the right single code. And I just deleted the letter instead of the quote character. So if you properly put there the single quote, then you will advance. here they're going to tell you that it's always a good idea to take a table. We have multiple tables here that we can query. Under available tables, you see for the scenario what tables are available for you. And it's always a good idea. Let me just zoom in potentially here. There we go. I think this is easier to see like this. How does it look like? Yeah. I'm gonna work with this font size and then adjust it if needed. So it's always a good idea to have the tables, and take two is like the SQL limit keyword, and with this you will only take the first 10. So you can click here on run, but the cool kids, when they write KQL, they always shift enter. Set the database to execute queries. Okay, I had to edit the video because I had issues connecting to the database. After exiting this game and going back, I was able to run the query, so I have the right database now, right cluster apparently. And I already submitted question 2, which you didn't miss much because all you had to do was copy and paste. When in doubt, take 10. So again, this is just telling you about using the take keyword, which is again like the SQL limit. Okay, let's advance. Hopefully this will work. The next one is asking you to count the number of elves here. So we're using the employees table and the count operator. Run this, and we get back 90. I also want to jump to my solution guide here and make sure that we are on the same page with my solution guide as well. Okay, the next question here, we can use the var operator to filter. Okay, so here is an example, and can you find the name of chief toy maker? So you probably want to again start with employees and just take 10 and check the name column here. So here we need to filter for chief toy maker under the role, which is over here. I'm not really sure why am I not able to easily navigate here. I don't have a scroll bar. Probably this was due to the zooming. Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm just going to then copy and paste the solution. So here, solution is easy. Employees where role is chief toy maker. I'm probably just going to zoom out one more here so that we see the role. So chief toy maker is what we're looking for. And then I'm using the project name to just get the name. And we can right click on this, copy it into the answer. So this is shiny alpha T. Submit. Okay, then there is some explanation on the various operators like contains, has, any, and in. They just ask you to paste in operator this time. And the next one is a question on how many emails Angel Candy Salt receive. You can filter for Angel Candy Salt's email address if you use the recipient field. You can also just use the name, so there are multiple ways to solve this. Although no, probably yeah. Okay, I remember now. So here, email, right, does not have the name, just the recipient. Sender, reply to recipient, subject, but we do not have a name column. So first you need to find out Angel Candy Salt's email address, and then you can take this one, and here in the editor you can have multiple queries one after the other. You can see that as I'm clicking on the queries, they get highlighted. And when I do a shift enter, it's the highlighted one that will be executed. So 31. Now, later on, they are going to talk about using joins, just like in SQL, joining two tables together on a field is very, very easy. I'm doing here a left join, and I was lazy, so instead of describing exactly which tables, which field I want to join on the other table, I just renamed the recipient field, sorry, the email address field to recipient, and that way we have the matching field name in the employees and the email table as well. So I just say left outer join email on the recipient with the employees table, and then we can just search for the name, and we should also get 31 as the solution. So 31 emails was received by Injure Candy Salt. All right, next one here. How many distinct recipients were seeing the email logs from Twinkie underscore Frostingstone and so on and so on? So for this, we just take the sample query here and adjust it. So we just put here the email address, and then distinct count will be done on the recipient. That's it. Very, very simple, very straightforward. And instead of sender has, of course, you can also just do sender equals equals. That also gives you 32. All right. Next one. It's time to put everything we have learned into action. This is already question 8. We have 3 more to complete the KQL 101 section. And that will be the first half for the silver. So here they are asking us to use the outbound network events table. Again, it's always a good idea to take a look inside and see what fields are available. So how many distinct websites? So we have the URL and user agent, source IP, method, and a timestamp. So the elf in question is Twinkle, Frostington, and we are looking for the IP address of that elf from the employee table. And we can use this with the outbound networks table with the source IP to get the distinct URLs, and we can see that it's 4 of them. So if we just add, one additional step here with the count, actually just replacing this, we get 4 as the answer. And of course, we can also do the same thing with a join. So again, I'm just renaming the field here. This way I'm saving some time because I don't need to specify the table name again. So it's just a lazy way of doing a join. I'll show you the proper way of doing it later. I just find this one very convenient with KQL. So I do a lot of times a join like this. And here we're just joining the 2 tables. Right here it's IP address for the field name. This is source IP, so I'm just again renaming it, and then I'm joining the 2 together, and we get 4 as the answer. Submit, and we reached level 2, but this is not something that we're really concerned about because it is only giving us the level within the KC7 website. We need to progress, so we still have 2 more questions. So we're gonna just say keep playing, and the next question is looking at passive DNS records, where we have the word green in, well, one of the fields. So again, we don't know where the domains are in the passive DNS table, so taking 10 will tell us that it's the domain field. Okay, not super surprising, but still, it's important to make a check on that. And after that, I'm just doing a where, saying contains green. Yeah, here they warn us that contains is high computing price, so can be quite slow. You can also use has, I believe, instead. Apparently you cannot. Okay. No, but I would use contains for this case for sure. So we have 10 of these. Yeah, has will work on exact match, the word of its own. Yeah, that's why you cannot use it. It's actually explained here. So yeah, in some cases you might want to use contains. All right, so the answer was 10. Let's submit that. And here we are using multiple tables together, and first we define the IPs in a variable that are returned from the employees table. So we have Twinkle in the name field, and we are taking the distinct IP addresses here, and then outbound network events. We can look through the collected IP addresses using the in statement. So the field has to be in this set that is returned here, and then we do a distinct URL count on this. So the first query here, let me just break it down, will give us IP addresses where the name has Twinkle. Actually, we can also just show you that we have 3 different names. That's why we have 3 different IP addresses. And then here, the outbound networks part is going to give us all the site visits, and we're just looking for distinct URL counts. So if 2 of them visited the same one, we're still just going to get these. And then I'm not really sure why the distinct count was not included there, but yeah, the final result is 8. So here without the distinct URL, I think we had a less than. Yeah, no, it's still 8. Or more than. I was thinking that we might have more than those, but we had actually just 8 distinct URLs here. Okay, and this should be the last one for these series. So when we submit it, then we're advancing to section 2. And this is kind of confusing because here, if you go back to the challenge, and let's let this one disappear, and go here to submit the answer, it's not really clear what you're supposed to submit. For the consecutive sections, it is, because they will explicitly tell you, okay, here's the flag, make a base64 string out of it, and submit that base64 string. But here it's just like submit something. I mean, it's kind of intuitive, so you would probably try the last answer here, but it's kind of weird that they forgot to specify this. So 8 and then submit will get you the trophy, and you only get gold trophies for these ones. For the overall challenge, it will turn silver once we solve one more. It doesn't matter which one you solve. I solved it in sequential order, so probably that's the easiest one. And then once you solve all of them, this will turn into a gold. Okay, so we need to keep on moving and solve the next section. So here we are already getting into the story one. KQL 101 was really just a warm-up for some data manipulation. And here we start investigating the case of some malicious activity. And this is, I think, a ransom case. Yeah. So you can read here the description. Who was the sender of the phishing email that set this plan into motion? So the only hint we have is surrender, but it says that emails contain deceptive message with the keyword surrender here. So if we again look at the email table, just take 10 of those, we see that in the table we have the subject field. So it's probably a good candidate to find all the emails with the subject surrender. We have here surrender notice from Camp Alabaster, I believe. And we have the list of recipients. We have only one sender though, just this one. So what I'm copying this, I'm right clicking, and then you have all these options. So you can copy. And then we're advancing to the next question. How many elves from Team Wombly received the phishing email? So we need to have, because some of the elves might have received it multiple times, so we need to have a distinct count on this. Slight modification here, and turns out there was 22 of them. Yay! All right. What was the file name of the document that Team Alabaster distributed in their phishing email? So if we go back and list out all the emails with the subject surrender, we can see that there's this Team Wombly surrender doc that comes back here multiple times. You can, for example, copy from here and then paste it in, and just delete this part to submit the name of the file. There we go. Now they're going to show you a proper join statement here. In this case, I'm not even sure if you need to modify. Yeah, just the file name is what you need to modify here. So we already had this one, and I think this query here just requires one simple modification. So if you just take that query and modify it here, who was the first person from Team Wombly to click on the URL in the phishing email? And we see that it was Joel, because this is ordered by time. But if you want to be absolute sure, then you can just order it by time. Submit. It's very easy, and you can see here, so just to show you how you properly do a join, you define the kind here. This is an inner join, and then you define on which fields you want to join. The problem here is that you need to specify the left and the right sides. It's just extra typing, so it's just much easier for a left join, for example, to rename the columns and then just run the query. Okay, the next one here is for process events. What was the file name that was created after the doc was downloaded and executed? Oh, this is just giving you the time range, but that is not actually the table that I was using here. Yeah, I see why we have a time interval. So I preserved the original query here, and I'm just executing a new one. So the idea here is that I am getting here the timestamp values. I think I just copied these. Let me try to see if these are the same. Yeah, almost. And then I just adjusted a little bit. Can you see it? It's just going not even too precisely. So actually it's probably like this, where it makes sense, and then going to the bottom of it here, copy, and I think I even narrowed it down, so just going for the first like half an hour-ish, because the question is what was the file name that was created after the doc was downloaded and executed. So here I'm just looking for a very narrow time interval for this elf, and yeah, I'm doing a lazy again left join based on the employee tables and the process event. So I'm actually using these queries just in a little bit lazy form. And the file name here that we find after execution is the keylogger one. So there's some obfuscated PowerShell here, some scheduled task, and apparently it's keylogger exe that was downloaded here. So we see here the file being probably downloaded here in the obfuscated string. And we have now the keylogger running. It's kind of hard to navigate like this. We have like no scroll bars, but we're managing it. Oh, then that was actually the end of it. That was the end of it. So to obtain the key, use the last answer. So the keylogger exe is the one that we need to use, and then we're just I think I kind of lost the top part of the site here. Okay, let me try to. We might have to reset here. Try to reload this site. Okay. There we go. So I'm just jumping to the last question here. We had keylogger. So we can paste it here. Then instead of the change this part, it's gonna be keylogger exe, and we have the base64 encoded flag, and we can take this one under operation surrender and submit it, and you can see that we have a new narrative unlocked because we have now all the challenges solved. But Microsoft KC7 is only silver, so we need to keep on moving and solve the last two. But at this point, you can move on to Act 3. And we have an achievement for KQL 101 and Operation Surrender. So you get achievements for each of the major sections here. Okay, next two. So this is for the gold now. So Operation Snowfall, T-Moment's ransomware was spreading. We're going to type Snowfall here to begin the challenge. We're gonna keep on playing here. And what was the IP address associated with the password spray? So we're looking for a lot of failed attempts here. I believe that this one actually just executes as is, and we see all the failed attempts. So here we have the summarized keyword, which will allow us to do aggregations, and we do a count by the username, the IP, and the results, and we see a lot of failed login attempts, and they're seemingly coming from this IP address here. All the failed login attempts, like the majority of them, are coming from this. Hundreds of those, and we have onesie twosies here. Those are internal ones. So that is the answer that we're looking for. This is quite easy, just copying and pasting the example query here. Okay, the next one. How many unique accounts were impacted where there was a successful login from this IP? So basically here I'm just saying a not failed login, although I probably could have just said successful instead, and then doing a distinct username. And I also have another filter here for the IP. And there's 23 of them. If you are not liking this, you can of course rewrite it with successful login equals, and then 23 is still going to be the result that you're getting. Submit this. What service was used to access the account's devices? We saw this one actually earlier, and again, if you do not like it, then you can do it in two ways, okay? You can do not failed login or successful login. It doesn't really matter. When we look at the tables, we see user successfully logged on to via RDP. So the name of the service is RDP. Submit. And question number 5. How many questions do we have here? Here we only have 7 questions, so this is an easy one. What file was extracted from Albester's laptop? Okay, for this one, we have the first query here previously, and I'm using this just to, let me see. I'm not really sure why am I listing this one for the authentication events. Okay, I think it's just accidentally forgot it, but the employees table and the process event table will allow me to search for the name. Again, in process events, we do not have the name, just an IP or host name rather, so we can find the host name. I think here I was trying to look for a username, but I couldn't really find anything useful, so I just went with the employees table here. And with Alabaster, the file that was exfiltrated is probably around the process command line where we can see some interesting things. So there's del copying happening here. It's a lot of copy events. The timestamp is ordered now, chronologically from newest to oldest, and the last copy event here from Alabaster's system to this VO cube one. I'm not sure if you can see this one from my, just above my head, so it is the secret underscore files. Now there are multiple ways to copy this. You can do copy and just keep this part, for example. So there we go. So this is the one that was copied off from that system based on process command line events. Then we have what is the name of the malicious file that was on Alabaster's laptop. Name of the malicious file. I am still using pretty much the same query here. I'm gonna delete this one because it's just confusing, and again, I'm not really sure why I even kept it. So this is just further analyzing the files here, and we need to move beyond here. Encrypt everything exe is the one that looks like potentially ransom. So the answer is encrypt everything exe. This happened earlier, so here we're starting from the earlier events and going to the older one. If that confuses you, you can just order it in a different way. So they copied over this file, and then a day-ish later, they copy off the files here, secret files. Okay, so here, malicious file is encrypt everything. And we have one last question. Oh no, that was actually the last question. So the one last task here is just change this to encrypt everything.exe. Run it. Copy the base 64. Submit it here. Yay. So we advance to the fourth section, and Operation Snowfall is now solved. We also have the achievement here. Okay, section 4 is gonna be a bit longer, but the difficulty level is pretty much the same as before. So they again explain us the scenario, and I am not even sure was the scenario here. I think it was still about fishing. Yeah, so more fishing related stuff. These emails identify a threat actor initial moves. What was the timestamp about the breach credentials? So what I did was running search or scan on, not scan, a search on the subject, and scanning for the subject field, whatever it has breach in it, and I found your credentials were found in recent breach data. It's the holidaybargainhunt.io domain. Okay, very believable. So first phishing email timestamp is the one that we're looking for, which is this one here. Submit. Okay. When did Noel click the link to the first file? So we have this query here, and I have here the join from the previous ones. Here the URL contains echo exe is what I'm searching for, because here you can see that the first phishing email had echo exe. So I'm looking for any traffic going to the echo exe in the outbound network events, and I am joining this with the employee tables. Interestingly, okay, I don't even filter for the name here. I'm just using it to display, so I'm projecting these fields here, and when is the question here, so I'm just copying in the timestamp here. All right, what was the IP for the domain where the file was hosted? We saw this one. It's actually here. We can just copy this. Here we do not really need to. Oh, that's actually the IP address. Okay, so we're going to use that as a basis. I'm just going to use here the answer field, and you can write a very simple passive DNS query, a query that will query the passive DNS table with this domain, and they're asking for the IP address. I'm running it this way, so in case there are multiple IP addresses, I can check that something is off, because we can only place in one, but we only had one IP address here. Okay, question number 5. Let's take a closer look at authentication events. I wonder if any connection from if any connection events from. Okay, if there are, probably that's the question here. If so, what hostname was accessed? So here we're going to the authentication events table for this source IP, and there is one hit, and the question was the hostname, which is this one here, web app elves workshop. All right, what was the script that was run to obtain credentials? So here I can go, because now I have a host name, and I can query the process events table, and we are looking for the process command line, and we can see that from PowerShell Mafia, invoke Mimikatz PS1 is being downloaded and executed afterwards. So we're just going to say invoke mimikatz ps1. And then what is the timestamp when no one executed a file? So again, I'm looking for echo exe. I think I can also do exe like this, although there might have been a reason why I'm just doing probably just laziness. So this is the execution time. So remember, the previous timestamp was when the file was downloaded. So we had the file when the phishing email arrived, when it was downloaded, and now the execution time, because those can actually differ. And there is a time difference between them. And it's about a half a minute time difference. The download was at 15:13 ish. Yeah. Yeah, 14:55 seconds. Okay, another level up. Keep on playing though. What domain was the holiday candy HT file downloaded from? So here, this is a bit of a context switch here. After begin including file name holiday candy. So here we're just getting some extra context for the next question. So where it was downloaded from. Outbound network events is our friend to answer this. And we see the domain compromised christmasstory.com. They're asking for the domain, not the URL. So just delete these and submit. Was the first file that was created after extraction. So here we are checking the process events for Noel. I'm just doing a join here so I can query based on the name. Probably Frosty TXT could have been used here. Yeah, well, I forgot to do that. So probably we can also just use process events where process command line contains Frosty. Let's do it. And I'm doing it ad hoc. This command line contains Frosty. It probably narrows down significantly. Yeah. So what was the first file that was created after extraction? And we see here a new item. That's actually not file creation event. It's this one here. So I wonder if oh, it's the file actually that was asking here. Yeah, so probably that's the reason why searching for Frosty is probably not the best way of doing it. No, it's kind of returning the same results. Yeah. So we have this event here. SQL writer is seemingly the one that gets created. Oh. That's weird. I'm gonna reload this. I think we can quickly jump to the end portion here. So we have SQL writer as the process name. in the command line. Sorry, command line process command line. I'm just wondering if there's any indication here on the creation. But I think I just went for the fact that this is mentioned here because SQLite is the correct one. You can, of course, expand a bit the details if you want to. Yeah, you cannot always see, of course, the output because of my face, but the important thing is the query here on top. So we have a line here that creates an entry in the registry, and SQLite is where it's pointing to. The next question I think is on the what's the name of properties? Registry key. Yeah, so we have the name Frosty. So it's an easy one. Same query can be used. And that's it. That is the last question. So this is probably the trickiest one here. And then we need to change again the flag for Frosty. Submit. And you did it. Yay. Done or something. I'm not sure. And then you can check on other cases that they have on KC7. It's a really nice site, by the way. And we can also submit the final flag here. And this gives us the final gold trophy for Microsoft KC7. We have all the achievements here and the gold trophy under objectives. And now we have the new narrative unlocked as well. We can move on to Act 3, but that's a story for a different time. Especially because it's getting quite late as I'm recording this video. Hopefully you liked the video and you found the parts that you were maybe having some harder time. I think this challenge was kind of straightforward and you had to just use the queries that they provide you. For the complex ones, for the easy ones, you were just really digging into the data with some similar queries. But this is actually what you do in a real incident as well. With learning KQL, I think is a very useful skill because Microsoft products these days all use KQL. So if you use any of their cloud services, it is going to be KQL. A lot of enterprises are running Microsoft tools, so KQL is an essential skill to have these days. So that was all for Act 2. We're gonna move on to Act 3, but if you are watching this video as Act 2 is now something that you're allowed to talk about, Act 3 will still be a month away from now. So keep on working on those challenges. If you watch it later and Act 3 is already released, then just click on the next video and we're gonna just move on to the next challenge.